to all my black sisters. How'd we get this love? So wrong. I mean, it looks, sounds, and smells right, so surely we've got this on lock. When I wheel past you at Checkers, we smile, don't we? When we're both at Spur with our families, I walk in and pass yours seated at the table, and it's a young nod of recognition that we are out here doing this black love thing. Sitting at the table across from one another in those meetings where we're the only woman in the room, sometimes they play us off one another, goading us to battle out the next best strategic move while they fold hands and incline heads. But we know better than to work against each other. Or at the salon. This is how you know it's real. We're capable of getting into entire conversations about this life as we know it. Be the ears no one else can give us, the perfect motion picture of empathy with this love as a soundtrack. These sessions have the propensity to get mildly deep. It looks, sounds, and smells right. But entrenched deep down is a hint of bitter, and that's putting it very lightly. It looks, sounds, and smells right, and that's exactly how they taught us, so we never confront ourselves or each other about it. If there was anything our previous masters got right, it was to penetrate their influence with absolute discretion that parades as our own discretion. How independent we've become. And yet, the song still said, Charlie, how your angels get down like that. And wasn't Charlie a white man? And oh yes, none of them angels were black, but at least Destiny's Child got paid, right? It's business, it's our business, and yet there seems to always be an agenda involved that deeply benefits everyone else at the cost of us. This black love is twisted and complex, really. But at the Natural Hair Symposiums, we smile sweet, like this fake won't rot our white teeth. I mean, black souls, Ubuntu, ne? But it's too easy for you to judge me more than you would ever judge Becky or Yana. So let's take another look at this, shall we? Remember when I wheeled past you at Checkers and we smiled? Wasn't that after you sized me up, and just as your eyes were making their way down in disappointment, my eyes were making their way up in the same thing, so we caught eyes and almost smiled, because it's a lot of work for our lips already set in disgust and anger, like we're not worth each other. Or that time at Spur. We both know that nod was pretense acknowledging pretense, because I'm a young single mother, but your disapproving eyes searched for a man like I was missing a limb. And while you did that, your husband of the year must have seen gold in my midsection, and I saw that as a sign of your lack. And again, we practically caught eyes, and because we're both being grown, a young nod did do, comrade. In those meetings where we sit across the table, we battle out the reality of who will be getting that next promotion, because there's two of us, but only one black sister will they be needing for that next promotion. Only one. So it's already a steep uphill struggle on a surface made completely of ice that we seem to keep that way right along with the system. Cold Olympic competition. Or at the salon, the perfect motion picture of empathy. But perfect isn't real or honest. and motion pictures use green screens. Our entire conversation at its foundation turned out to be about another black sister's behavior. See, we had both heard about a popular blessee and how she's been in these streets. Not once did we talk about what is actually out there to encourage our generation of young sisters to make greater use of their beings than a simple get-rich-quick scheme that doesn't even compare to the wealth they could be creating. We don't even bother to acknowledge how tempting the difficult circumstances are that often lead to choosing that lifestyle, beyond what we believe is laziness. That's empathy. When was the last time I simply listened to you, sis, without judgment? The sad truth of our love is evident when my man cheats, but it's your neck I go for instead of his. And the times when you know it's my bed he's coming from. Where's our black love then? Yes, we are acutely aware of this bitterness inherited through pictures that the media, religion, politics, and customs have painted for us. And yet we still manage to crab our way through this life rather than rise together because we get much further that way. Black sister, in all your unique shades and sizes, why perpetuate self-hate in the memes you endorse via your reposts as if you aren't actually just laughing at yourself in the end? Yes, it's humorous, but where there's smoke, there's fire, love. And it's an acidic odor that assaults our inside and outside, because what's burning is hate, jealousy, and a knockoff version of compassion fueled by anger, because we're all deeply affected by oppression, but when we lash out, our aggression finds an easy target in our own reflections. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I looked at you through their lenses like it was my reality. That I allowed that to dictate my actions, often without scrutiny. I'm sorry that I didn't always see me in you, my fellow queen. That I made assumptions about you without any care to the damage caused behind your back and to your face. That it was so easy because of the bed of hatred I laid my head on. Internalized since before the day I was made conscious of my blackness in a white male world. I'm sorry that I didn't always stand in the gap for us. That I was narrow-minded and short-sighted about what turned out to be myself. So, having exposed the false love in the room, I speak this to our present and future, and make these vows to us. I love you, black sister. I love you, black sister. And my love is not all-consuming, leaving nothing in its wake. It is growth at its worst, because discipline does hurt and sometimes so does change. At its best, it is our truth. It is the acknowledgement of our shared and overlapping histories and legacy. This love is legacy. It is the picture of a land of milk and honey and caramel and chocolate. Black sister, I was never meant to be alone and without you who understands. And neither were you. I vow to recognize and accept you the way our mothers do us. It is you, it is me, it is us one day teaching the world, embodying Black love the way our grandmothers and great-grandmothers did us, the way Maya Angelou and Audre Lorde wrote us, the way Miriam Makeba sang us, the way African queen mothers led and guided us, the way Winnie Mandela was steadfast and brave in showing us not just survival, but tenderness and strength at its core, and creative to the bone. It is power to do the impossible and live. Yes, live and flourish in this world and beyond. Black sister, I Black love you to the very fiery core of this earth and back. I have got you. My mind, my eyes, my ears, my mouth, my shoulders, these arms, my palms, my hips, my thighs, my knees, my very toes have got yours. Forever fighting, laughing, and breathing at your side. Together healing the turmoil inside. In sickness and in health. In poverty and in wealth. I vow to loving and being in every day with you, Black sister. I do.